Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 6 of this Play All 7 series. We're on Siberia, and we have ourselves a Chinese mirror. Spawning to the southeast of the map in the colour purple is Rohbrot, and Dennis is spawning to the northwest in the colour blue. And what a start here for Rohbrot if you've just joined us. Got himself 240 wood treasures in base. Why is he chopping trees? I don't know. And like... This kind of reminds me of game number 1, where I think Rohbrot is playing China. He knows China's a good civ, but he's not actually a Chinese player. And getting that wood early on, a bit interesting, because he knew he had enough wood here for the village and the train bow straight away. But minor things, funny things, and I'll let him off for that one. Dennis on the other side finds himself 75 food, guarded by 2 snow leopards. Decent treasure to take. Has a 40 wood treasure in base, but yeah, it's just too far away from the outpost to try and take it with the tower. If you take it with your explorer, you just slow down your first shipment, which is vitally important in the efforts to get a consulate build start going. Like, look at Rohbrot, he's quite far away. Oh, it looks like Dennis missed the first pass, but that might be because first pass is just impossible on that spawn. Something to maybe think about and consider if you're playing China next. This is a really awkward position for the village. I suppose it is protected by the trees, but it's quite far up from the town centre. Not too bad. I wouldn't mind it here to try and assist defending the silver mine to get like villagers teleport through to the town centre, but it's okay, I suppose. That's a nicer spawned silver mine there for Dennis. So if you haven't seen game 1, also go check it out. Check out all the games, of course. But we did see Rohbrot playing China in that game as well, going for a French consulate build versus Hausa, and had a few interesting ideas like pivoting with a market and doing other plays. Rohbrot here going for a villager card, but I think he missed it. I think Rohbrot just missed the villagers, so Rohbrot's on 13 vil, Dennis is on 11. Yeah, no, that's Rohbrot going for the extra village vil tech cards to try and get some more to have like a early 3 vil shipment, but got the 2 vils instead. And actually not having consulates in card number 1 is really not, it's not terrible. And I think in the China build order, this might be one of those actually matchups where not going advanced, going tea leaves really matters, because you kind of save yourself the card. You have a stronger economy with the earlier villagers. You can still send 700 gold, 700 woods. You're not really under pressure in the second age from China. China don't really like to rush other Chinese players because you're essentially fighting fire with fire. Meanwhile, though, Dennis going for French consulate, food crates, aging up with a Wander, 1 villager on it. I think the idea of the 1 villager age up here is so that his time into age 3 is faster, because as soon as you get to the next stage, you call in 700 gold, but if you gather everything up too quickly, you just won't have enough resources to click up. So you're kind of resource limited, not time limited. But it's interesting. We'll see two different strategies. We're going to see Temple of Heaven here from Rohbrot as well, but has been rotated to try and form a block, but it's kind of, you want to block it this way, not this way. You kind of really want to allow good access to your only silver mine in base. Villages away from the action. Second village is absolutely fine. I mean, villages can garrison into this tower, so it's not the end of the world, but also, this matchup, you're not going to be seeing too much raiding. But why has Rohbrot got 6 villagers on the Temple of Heaven? Is he actually going aggressive here? He might be. For all you numerical aficionados out there, for each villager you put onto a Wander, you take the build time off by 10 seconds up to 4. And then every villager from 5 onwards, it takes off 5 seconds. So 6 vils on this Wander isn't really that efficient. Does get up at a decent time compared to Dennis, who will be slugs. He's aging up with 1 villager, but obviously his Wander's thrown down so much faster. But the amount of resources Dennis should have is a lot higher, but he's over-gathered gold royally here. What is he doing? He's also gone for an extra village. I did see he did go for the Northern Refugees. Maybe he's going to skip 700 gold completely and maybe 300 export pivot into something like German. Looks like he's not sending 700 gold, and yeah, I can confirm that he's not. So, Villager Revised Explorer looks like they went down to Robot. I think I did see that kill there, which is very, very nice. But we got some really different builds already. This is exciting to see. I don't get the sense it's people making it up on the spot, but yeah, Robot now sending the gold. Yeah, needs to gather a lot more gold on the mine. Okay, actually, I think he's gonna be saved by the 50 coin treasure here. I don't know if he's just scouted it or knew it was there for a long time. 40 wood. You don't actually really need it to China, so yeah, he will be saved by that treasure. He'll get that, but he's still 300 food short, and he might want to train another villager. It's quite hard to see how, I'll see what he wants to do. Actually, we'll be sending in 300 export, which as a pivot, which I don't mind. The only problem is you're down at a Forge Stage shipment now. And there's some really strong Forge Stage shipments for 300 export. It's just not coming close. Granted, he does get his wonder down at 615, but traditional Chinese FFs can get it down at 550, definitely. And definitely age up before 7 minutes, so time could be found there, especially after such a great start he had. I think missing that extra villager was tough, but then again, trying to go for 2 villages, a trading post in H1, rather expensive. So let's see if he can manage to recover from that. So wood was actually sent down. War cannon going to be built. There's still some random chopping going on here from Dennis. Dennis isn't going Fortress, not going aggro, is he? Let's look. He's got a village out on the side. Wandered now coming down. He's dropping it down at 7 minutes, and I just don't see how. Yes, you kind of save your shipment, or you can kind of, by sending 700 wood, you don't really need the porcelain tower sat on wood for too long, but it's risky versus, well, maybe not versus China, but you're down so much momentum, and Robot will be aging up soon, and this factory will be working for him so fast. Robot kind of does need this on wood for a bit. Well, we don't need it. As you can see, he's not training anything for the time being. Maybe he's going to go, oh, he hasn't got 1,000 gold for an FI, and one of the strongest build orders in the Chinese mirror is the Chinese FI, and he's not going for that. So, PETARDs. The dude's sending in PETARDs. Wow. Can't tell you what the price is. I think the PETARD is 350. He's not going advanced consulate. Kind of needs other cards to make the export spam work, but he's still sat his resource income at 0%. But just open up PETARD. What do you expect to kill? Like, what do you expect to kill cost effectively? Yes, you got 5 PETARDs. A little bit more extra HP, but they don't do more attack. It's 1,600, so 5,000, 8,000. Yeah, they can kill the town centre, but great. Just put the porcelain town to wood and get it built up. Robot now sending in British intervention for the musketeers. PETARD's going for a backdoor. Oh, do not. Oh. If Robot shift clicks this, they're all just going to die. There's a bug which actually kills PETARDs if their shift clicked onto a target, but this may look fancy, but honestly, this is Robots is begging to lose here. Honestly, it's just not. It's not how you really want to spend your export. It's so having those musketeers in the force is super beneficial. Off comes the redcoats. Dennis sending in meat jammers first. He has scouted the redcoats. He certainly does now. Still sending the meechers. Here comes the PETARDs. Defensive redcoats. He's looking for the Temple of Heaven snipe, but that's just going out now. One PETARD has gone down. Muskets charging in. There is time for Minutemen from the town centre to get called. Meech Hammer's about to get coming out behind. PETARD's managed to take down the village and the War Academy. War Academy does go down, but when you're playing China, you're not actually training units from the War Academy this early in the game. It's most of your resources are spent on infrastructure, on getting your shipments, disciples, villagers. He's got some decent income and kind of looks nice. He has managed to get something done with the PETARDs, but what is the long-lasting damage here? There's not much. I think Robot hoping for the army to be away from the town centre. And yes, 5 petards will happily pick up the porcelain tower, and you go, yeah, that is a good trade, but Dennis soon about to call in another 6 redcoat musketeers. Rohbrot, you can send more petards, I guess. Is it 450? That's so expensive. That is so expensive. And obviously, basically what Rohbrot's doing here, he's spending that advantage of not going food crepes as France into like, this extra momentum of the petards, but that just hasn't quite happened. Like, the 300 export pivot is like, right, I'm going to push in with 15 redcoat musketeers and my first shipment. Like, this is like classical Chinese build order. And who knows, actually we might get to the point where ditching tea leaves might be better and just going back to standard build orders and having pivot 300 export, because you know, this is actually pretty good. Maybe the momentum for Rohbrot's got. The score league suggests that Rohbrot's doing pretty well. Dennis sending in Manchurian cavalry archers. Oh my goodness, wow. Okay. I mean, that works. He hasn't gone for the arquebusier shipment yet. That's the kind of what he needs. He's like both players have seen that there's an endless amount of redcoats on the field. Dennis knows that like Rohbrot's like lacking military units because he went with the petard, so he could actually get ahead in the skirmisher war. The Manchurian cavalry archers will give him the power spike he needs to push into. Rohbrot obviously being famous for having both 5 meteor hammers and 4 iron flowers on deck. He might want to think about sending the next one. He is going to send the next one. He really should be sending in the arquebusiers. I know he doesn't know the Manchu are coming just yet, but like, yeah, 10 arquebusiers is such a critical shipment in the Chinese component, only way to really mass skirmishers. And meteor hammers getting the snare on the arquebusiers straight away. Obviously, both players have access to Transcendence. Manchu getting there. Explorers getting stuck into the action. Chang does and Chang does. Meteor hammers actually might want to get pulled back a little bit, but Manchu's getting some good thing. Rohbrot calls Transcendence. Looks like Dennis should call Transcendence as well. Has Dennis called Transcendence? He doesn't. Yes, he has. Both players called Transcendence. Yes, he's used it as well. Not a bad fight, but now we have the Explorer soaking up all the skirmisher fire. There's still some cavalry on the field, but for whom? Chris Kamara, but for whom? It's actually Rohbrot have... Wait. Oh, Dennis has only just used it now, it looks like. I'm so confused. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Who just used it? Dennis used it later. That was a delayed one, I think. But the reinforcement cav from the war cavalry coming in. Redcoat's still standing strong. Still has 12 redcoats, my god. And that is really hard to come back from. Okay, yeah, Rohbrot could also squeeze in his own Manchurian cavalry archer shipment, I guess. He's now going to have to go to the arquebusiers. He can't quite afford anything. He just have one batch of skirm swords, but Khan needs to get into some cav now, maybe. It'd be a nice way to kind of balance out this skirm heavy. Villagers having to get raided and run away. Obviously, Rohbrot with the market play, like, that's his favourite. Porcelain Tower now onto gold. It's a good call. I think some players sometimes leave their Porcelain Tower too much on the wood. Case in point, Dennis here. He's basically got all the population he wants. He's got 400 wood left over, but how do you spend it? Maybe second racks? Then upgrades your thing. You can get Imperial Broxy as we speak. Meteor Hammer's diving in now. So much on the gold. Maybe he's looking for Iron Troop next card. I think he is waiting for Iron Troop. And I love this. When you're trying to send in a mercenary shipment, wait for the mercenary shipment. It's a double shipment of power. And when those Iron Troops do come in, you will feel the benefits. Changdao shipment crossing the map with Skirm Sword reinforcements. Just the one war palace war can be down for the time being. Oh, Skirm Swords get picked off. Miss rally error. That's not the end of the world though. It's a best of 35, basically. Well, between the teams, like, yeah, it is best of 35, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose that is a way of looking at it. Just imagine having a best of 35 between 2 players. Oh, best of 35 between Lionheart and Risotto. That'd be quite interesting. Or best of 35 between Shake and Passy. Maybe we need to start getting the crowd sourcing. And we also need to restart the Friday fund down the £50 SmackDown line. I know your pockets are brimming at the moment with your big boy YouTube income. You're doing really well. It's popping off really nicely. So we need to think of opponents of our next series. The fourth one, maybe I think it'd be the fourth one actually. I know that the EPL players haven't played for a while, so maybe a couple of them will be gagging for a game. Rohbrot going for some cheeky gathering out on the eastern side of the map. Back to this game, of course. Dennis sending Iron Troop. I think Rohbrot's teeing up a mercenary shipment as well. It's the Manchurian cavalry archers. I could sense that because he's kind of like, the mass hasn't grown for a while and he's kind of sat back defensively waiting for reinforcements, but sending Manchurian archers into another player sending in Iron Troop is gonna feel really bad. He's still training sword skirm, kind of wanting that cav play now. Now that you know that the cavalry archers from Dennis have gone, I'm looking at Dennis's deck, he doesn't actually have Beiyang army, 10 Keshiks. It's like the classic China deck there is, but some different variations of China H3 lineup cards. Essentially here, I think the Iron Troop is probably the one card you could probably exchange for either Beiyang army, Iron Prince Cap's army, 4 Iron Flails, 7 thingies, hand mortars. So there's potential for variation here. Just waiting for the Iron Troops. But I just want to see Dennis go full cavalry. I know that there's Manchu archers on the field for Rohbrot, but I want to see full cavalry here now from Dennis. It's just you've got the skirmisher mass on lockdown. You've got 60% range resist Iron Troops. Like they're going to win any skirmisher war. You just need to slam it in, and the score looking good here for Dennis. Both players' Transcendence now back in full swing, so maybe you might see a Transcendence showdown. I'll have to try and find out who's going to transcend first, but I think neither player want to pull the trigger first. I think it's better to transcend second, actually. Somebody's caught it. Rohbrot's caught it early. Rohbrot's caught it very early. He's panicking, and Dennis, has he caught it yet? No, he hasn't. He's going to build some disciples. Now he should call it. Look at the damage on his army. That'll get some better. He might not even need it. Maybe he's forgot. He should call it, though. Do it. He's actually losing the fight. Well, he's not been losing the fight, but he's lost a lot of units because he hasn't hit that Transcendence button. But for the sake of what's remaining, the Explorer's gone down. He could have kept that alive. That could have gone back up to 1,000 HP. But yeah, the Iron Troop unchallenged at the moment, and there's enough Redcoats. Another batch of Redcoats come in. Rohbrot's play for the PETARD hasn't paid off, and Dennis managed to secure a military advantage and never let it go. We're 3 apiece after 6 games. Who will win the 7th? We'll find out in the next game. Let's have a very quick, brief look at the military graphs while we're here. I know some people really like that. Dennis was ahead and just crushed that fight with the Manchurian cavalry archers, waiting for the power spike of the mercenaries, and it turned up and managed to get a big victory there. Looking a bit dicey in places, but reinforcements came in and managed to secure that position. Rohbrot's played the PETARDs, didn't quite work out, and oh my god, yeah, he only had 2 villagers. Missed out on the 3rd villager by seconds, and a bit of idle time here on the TC from Rohbrot, also not ideal. How the hell did Dennis lose a villager in Age 1? How is that possible? I have no idea. The things you see in tournament games, villager production there from Dennis actually really good as the game went on, so well played there. And all resources probably exceptionally close. The game's not decided on the resources here, it's actually the unit choice, the card order, and you know, the fighting. But great game there. Do love me some China. And Rohbrot's unfortunately lost 2 China games on the trot. Dennis coming back on this one. 3 apiece, still looking strong. We'll go into the final game. It's a play all 7 series, so whoever wins the final game will take a valuable extra points for their team. But I think both players are happy to avoid the 7-0 whitewash and the embarrassment that comes with that. But it just shows how evenly poised these players are and how evenly poised this series is. So we'll see you for the final game now.